Gaming has some legendary entries, games that you just hear of and you go, oh yeah, that game was amazing. Sometimes these legends become just that, legends. You barely ever hear of their existence, and when you do, you remember the fond memories for a short while before forgetting about them all over again. Now I'm here to actually maybe shed some light on some of those games that we've kind of forgotten about, but were still really good. Maybe I can entice some new gamers to even try them out, or entice some older gamers to give them another shot. Either way, whether this is a nostalgia trip for you or something new that you might want to try, here are my top 5 good forgotten games. Beyond Good and Evil was an adventure game released by Ubisoft, and it followed main character Jade to discover the truth about an alien war. You solve puzzles, stealth around, fight enemies, and it was a stellar game for the era, and it definitely deserves another look. Age of Mythology is made by Ensemble Studios, makers of the very famous Age of Empires series, and while they are still going on strong, Mythology was pushed aside. It plays very much like Age of Empires 2, but with different buildings, temples, and units, revolving around gods of mythologies of the past. It was, and still is, a solid game that deserves another look, and with it now on Steam, it's easy to pick up and play. This game is beautiful. Shadow of the Colossus is the second game by Team Ico, whose lead designer is now working on The Last Guardian. Shadow of the Colossus is a very lonely experience, but the scale of the colossi, the atmosphere and environment peg it with the best of the best on PlayStation 2. I almost dare you to find a top 10 PS2 list without this game on it. Recent game, Awesomenauts gave us the MOBA style of League of Legends with a quirky side-scroller. With plenty of cool characters, upgrades, and ways to play, it was a huge hit, but seems to have fallen from its height and now is just a reminder of a short-lived but amazingly fun game. Before I talk about number 1, there's an entire series that I'd like to show off. Crash Bandicoot was Sony's huge go-to guide for PlayStation 1, releasing hit titles like Crash Bandicoot 1, Warped, and Crash Bash. Warped being one of the first games I have ever played. Now, while Sony has moved on, we remember the days of Crash fondly, but sadly rarely. I rarely hear of Crash ever being brought up, more so the PlayStation 2's major hit series like Jak and Daxter or Ratchet and Clank. I think this insane fox creature deserves a bit more love. But now, to number 1. Tim Schafer can do no wrong, at least in the early to mid-2000s anyway. Psychonauts, a platformer from the weird brain of Tim, was massively overlooked when it was released, which sadly pushed it into obscurity until it was rediscovered and a craze happened. Despite this game's cult status and raving reviews, it has been widely forgotten. So that's my personal top 5 for good forgotten games. What are some games that you've forgotten about that you really enjoyed either as a kid or maybe even a few years ago and have just forgotten about? Let us know by leaving a comment below. And thanks for watching.